What up, guys? Look, today we got to talk about it. Life after trucking, man. We got to talk about investing, retirement account. Where do you stand? It's very important. But we're not going to do it out here. They got the big Great Dane next door making a lot of noise. Let's go in my office, man. Come on. Let's get it. All right, guys, I made it to the whiteboard. Listen, before I get started, I gotta say this, man. Everything I'm gonna cover today is not financial advice. I really expect you guys to do your own due diligence, do your research on everything I'm gonna talk about today. With that said, though, I'm gonna be sharing some information that can definitely change your financial future. Very important. If you're not doing some of the things that I'm gonna talk about today, you probably should go ahead and start getting the ball rolling on these things. I was looking at my channel analytics earlier this morning, and I was looking at the different age groups of people that watch my channel. And I had an age group from 13 to 17 years old that watch my channel. And if you're in that age bracket, I think that's amazing. And you really need to focus and tune in to what I'm gonna tell you today. I also seen a stat where it was ages 18 to 34 or 18 to 24, one of the two. I think that's amazing. So you're also young enough to where if you start some of these things now, in the next 20 years, unless you find a great opportunity, and that's very possible in this day and age with social media and having a smartphone, you guys can reach financial independence in a much faster time than it used to be, all right? You got people that become millionaires almost overnight in the social media space. So you can definitely reach financial independence much sooner. But from a traditional standpoint, the strategy that I'm going to show you today can definitely put you on the fast track. All right. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started, man. Number one, if you're working a W-2 job, if you're a W-2 employee and your company offers a 401k, ideally you should be investing into that retirement account. All right, you should be contributing to that account. That's number one. If your company offers a company match at a certain threshold, whether that's 3%, 4%, whatever that threshold is, you should be contributing to that account up to that point or beyond, right? You should at least be contributing a minimum, but if you could do more, that's also great. So the 401k, that's number one. Contribute to that account ASAP. All right. Now, let's talk about the accelerated strategy to get you to financial independence a lot sooner. And that is by compound interest. So compound interest is awesome. You say, what is compound interest? So compound interest is essentially interest earned on top of interest. And I'm gonna show you guys how it works because people learn better by visual. All right. So I'm gonna show you guys on the whiteboard how powerful compound interest is and how it's the quickest way from a traditional standpoint for you to reach financial independence and really grow your overall net worth. So let's just say you invested $5,000 in an asset in which you were able to gain compound interest. Now, we're going to be talking about the S&P 500 because they have a much greater rate of return, but you can invest in stocks, bonds, REITs, CDs, all of those other different things. You can earn compound interest by investing with those as well, but you're going to get a much lower rate of return. So I suggest investing in something like the S&P 500. So let's just say you invested $5,000. You invested $5,000. The average rate of return on the S&P 500 historically is somewhere around 10%. All right, give or take. Now, we all know the market is down right now due to inflation and things of that nature, recession. But historically, the average rate of return is around 10%. So we're going to use 10%. So let's say you invested $5,000 at 10% interest. That is $500. All right. So then this is year one. So $500 off a $5,000 investment is what you made in year one. Now that's just your simple interest right there off the initial principal. Your money hasn't compounded yet. It's gonna start compounding when we get to year two. Now, let's go to year two, right? So this year one, $500, that's your simple interest. So year 2, you at 5,500 now, right? So you got the 500 and you got the 5,000. So now you're at 5,500. All right. You multiply that by the 10% interest. Now your money is going to start compounding. All right. So now you're at 10% of 5,500. You're at $550 in year 2. So you already made $50 from one year to the next. Now, try investing $5,000 in a traditional bank account, a savings account. You won't get nowhere near $500 off a $5,000 investment if you put that into your savings account. All right. That's why I've said in previous videos, having your money in a savings account is not making you any money. You need to put your money to work. If your money is not working for you, you're doing it wrong. All right. You want to have passive income, and this is the way to get passive income. You get passive income by investing in assets that are able to make you money in your sleep. This is a great way to be able to do that. If you want to reach financial independence at a faster pace, you have to have passive income coming in. All right. Put your money to work, make money in your sleep. This is the way to do it. So year 2, we got $550. So now we're going to take the $550 and the $5,500 and we're going to add that together. So now we got $6,050. All right. Year 3, you times that by 10%. All right. So if you take the 10%, 6,050, you got, what's that? 605? 605. Year 3. All right. So you can see the difference between the two. Remember, you only started with $5,000. Now, 3 years later, you're sitting right here. But it's not over yet. You got to take the 605 plus the 6,050, right? So now we got 6,655, right? I think that's right. 6,655. Yeah, so 6,655 in 3 years is what you had from an initial $5,000 investment. That's how powerful compound interest is. So you made, what's that? $1,655 in 3 years. That's the profit that you made from a $5,000 investment. And that's how powerful compound interest is. In 3 years, like I said, if you keep $5,000 in your savings account for 3 years, you won't come nowhere near this amount of money. So doing strategies like this is how you get to financial independence. All right. And that's what I really want you guys to understand. Now, let's talk about some of the other things you can invest in to get that passive income. All right. Passive income is basically what I like to call mailbox money. All right. If you're a landlord, you heard that term before. If you own rental properties, you heard that term before. Mailbox money. That basically just means the check is in the mail every month. All right. Landlords get paid rent from tenants every month. It's in the mail. So it's mailbox money. It's money that comes monthly, quarterly, annually, however they pay out. You can invest in certain stocks or ETFs that pay out dividends. Some payouts are monthly, some are quarterly, some are annually. So you just got to do your research on that to know what they pay out. All right. I'm invested in an ETF called BTI. It's the Vanguard Total Stock Market ETF, right? That ETF is made up of over 4,000 companies. Instead of me investing in one particular stock, I can invest in an ETF and have ownership in over 4,000 companies. So again, investing in assets, getting passive income is a great way to build your overall net worth. All right. I mentioned rental properties earlier. Let's say you don't have the money to buy a piece of property. Not a lot of people have the funds to go out and purchase a piece of property. Well, you don't physically have to purchase property. You can purchase what's called a REIT. All right, REIT, R-E-I-T-S, R-E-I-T-S. It's an acronym, all right? That stands for Real Estate Investment Trust. So a REIT is essentially a company that owns warehouses, hotels, apartment buildings, shopping centers, those sorts of things, all right? So if you were to invest in a REIT, you would have ownership in those things, all right? That's what investing is all about. It's you having ownership in these assets, and that's what you want. You want to have ownership. If I go buy a share of Nike, right, I have ownership in the company. I own a percentage of that company now. If I go buy a share of Amazon, like I mentioned earlier, or Disney or Coca-Cola, now I have ownership in those companies, all right? And again, when it comes to investing in the stock market or in anything, there's always risk involved, all right? So you have to know your risk tolerance. But if you're a long-term investor, most long-term investors don't really pay too much attention to what's going on in the market in the short term, because they know that you're going to experience fluctuations, right? The market is going to go up and down like a roller coaster. But if your investing strategy is long-term, then you really don't care too much about the bumps in the road, because you know that's just the way the market works, all right? You still should be investing no matter what the market is doing, because you can always dollar cost average in. So if you're able to just put in a little money here and there, bring your dollar cost average down, DCA is what we call it. That's what smart investors do to bring the dollar cost average down. You got to understand something else that I want to tell you guys. Profits are better than wages. All right, let me repeat that. Profits are better than wages. You say, and what do you mean by profits are better than wages? So wages are what we get paid from working a job. All right, as a W-2 employee, we get paid a wage to do the work. When you invest, you make profits. All right, so wages make you a living, profits make you a fortune. Profits are far better than wages. So that's what the focus should be on, investing in assets to make profits, to grow your overall net worth. That's the kind of mindset that we need to have if we want to reach that level of financial independence that so many others out there have reached at a high level. All right, so we got to change the way we think about money, and we got to learn how to put our money to work for us. It's not working for you if you got it stuffed in a savings account. All right, put your money to work, invest a percentage of it to where that money can make you more money. That's the idea. So the earlier you start this process, the better. I guarantee you, all the older people that are going to watch this video, if they can go back 20, 30 years and apply some of these principles to their younger self, I guarantee you they say, you know what? I should have done this 20, 30 years ago. I would be retired right now, sitting, laying on a yacht somewhere. Again, you just putting your money in there. However much money you allocate into those investment accounts, you just letting it sit in there, regardless of what the market is doing. Don't panic sell. The market is going to rebound and correct itself. That's what you got to understand. You got to understand how the market works. You can't panic and pull your money out of it and lose money. All right, that's how you lose money, when you panic sell. Speaking of losing money, let me go ahead and touch on this. So you have what's called realized gains and unrealized gains. You have realized losses and unrealized losses. All right, you say, what is a realized gain? So a realized gain is when you make profit and you sell the stock in order to get the profit. That's a realized gain. All right, an unrealized gain is when you invest in a stock, the stock goes up, now you're in profit, but you don't sell the stock. That's an unrealized gain. It doesn't become realized until you actually sell that stock. All right, we call that a realized gain. So what's a realized loss? A realized loss is when a stock goes down and you're in the negative on your investment and you sell at that point, right? You panic sell because the stock dropped. So now you sold at a loss. That's a realized loss. An unrealized loss is when the stock goes down. Now, whatever money you invest in that stock is down, but you don't sell, right? That's an unrealized loss. It doesn't become realized until you actually sell that stock, all right? So again, you don't lose money in the stock market unless you sell at a loss. If the stock is just down and you're sitting at a loss right now on paper, it's just on paper. You essentially haven't lost that money until you sold, right? You haven't locked in the losses until you actually sell that stock, all right? So that's what I want to talk about today. I don't really want to go on a tangent and start talking about a bunch of different things. I really just wanted to talk about life after trucking. What are we doing with our money? Are we putting our money to work for us so we can retire as soon as possible, all right? That's the goal. If I could retire tomorrow, I would. So listen, all my truck drivers out there, are you just saving your money or are you putting your money to work by investing? That's the question you need to ask yourself. You also need to ask yourself, when are you able to retire? Are you able to retire in the next 5, 10, 15 years, right? Based on how old you are. These are some of the things that we really need to think about. Listen, man, that's all I got for you guys today. If you're new to the channel, hit that like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next one, man. Y'all take care. Peace.